dance for joy or lust or anger.
Welcome to slightly shambolic SMMT reviews, where we take a brand new car at the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders test day, in this case SMMT Live, put it through its paces, and it all goes horribly wrong. This is a 2025 Toyota Prius XW60 plug-in hybrid XL, but this has been sticking up to look like what a GR Prius would do if they made one. Anyway, is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the XW60 generation of Prius, this is the 5th generation, was introduced in this country in early 2024. It had been announced the previous year because initially Toyota weren't planning on marketing this generation of Prius over here at all. I think it was something to do with lower sales of the previous generation, which doesn't look as nice as this. I did drive one of those in the very early days of the channel. I think it was in the summer of 2019. So I've not driven a Prius for many, many years. And this one, immediately, it stands out. The design of it, for a start, is much, much better. And this interior is much nicer than the previous model. Suspension remains a little bit on the firm side. Obviously, at Kumabi, near Coventry, where we're having this SMMT test day, the bumps on this driveway are quite severe, which is a bit of a shame. It's not really my favourite, but there's nothing we can do about that. So 0 to 60 in this car takes 6.8 seconds. Actually, it's a 0 to 62 time, and top speed is only like 115 miles an hour. But really, our speed limit in this country is 70. So do you really need to go any faster? We'll find out what happens when we just get it on the road here. We see how quick it feels. It's only a 50 mile an hour speed limit here, so we can't go too crazy. But there we go. Let's have a look and see, once this traffic has stopped, what this Prius will do. This is in the B mode, so we've got noisy engine. It doesn't sound particularly good. It's not the nicest sounding. Let's put it into EV mode. Battery's a bit low because of people driving it like crazy. That's fine. Can we put it in auto EV mode? So we're just going to leave it in whatever mode this is. Now you can hold the charge of it. You can do apparently up to 53 miles on electric power alone in some of the plug-in hybrid models, not this particular one I don't think, but the base model of 19-inch wheels, I think you can get that, but it will depend on the time of year and all kinds of other things. So I'd reckon about 30 to 40 miles if you're going to do that. We'll have to let this charge up a little bit actually if we want anything to happen like that. Mind you, just driving it normally, just leaving it to do what it wants to do in eco mode is fine. We can go into the sport mode and see if that makes a difference. Yep, that has dropped the simulated gear ratios a little bit and makes us feel a bit faster. It's also given some weight to the steering, so actually this feels quite planted in sport mode. It feels good, but we won't get any extra range by doing that, so we're just going to ease that back into eco mode. Or normal, it doesn't matter. I'd probably go for eco mode, considering this is supposed to be an eco car, always was like that. Because it's quite low to the ground in comparison with a lot of modern cars, it honestly feels quite well planted, and because we've got this amazing amount of power, about 220 horsepower, it feels quick. It almost feels sporty. So this is the XL model of the Prius. The thing about this one is it's been dressed up to look like what a GR Prius would look like, but it's actually not. It's a standard XL model. There is one called the Design, which is not quite as fancy as this. It has a lot of equipment, and the price of this is just under the luxury car tax at $39,995. Applies with wind noise, by the way. The engine is a 2 litre with 220 horsepower. 0 to 60 is 6.8 seconds, which is mad. One thing that's really weird about the Prius is that the insurance group is quite high. It's actually 31A, which I'm quite surprised about. This has got just everything on it. This is the most luxurious version, obviously with the stickers on it. I think the design of this Prius is an awful lot better than the previous model. It's much more handsome, this particular car. It's obviously more expensive and things too, but it's a much more handsome car. I can understand why you'd want to buy this, literally just because of the design of it. Toyota didn't originally want to market this generation of Prius in this country. They thought the needs of millions of Uber drivers would be better served by the sports touring version or touring sports version of the Corolla hybrid, which of course some of the models share this 2-litre engine, but I don't think you can get a plug-in version. The only version of the Prius available in this country is the plug-in. You can't get the standard one. So we got cameras everywhere. Boot is actually unnecessarily powered, you probably don't need that. The boot size is quite small. It's only 284 litres, which isn't very big at all actually for a car of this size. If you lift it up there, can we actually get anything? No, it's just all a sort of luggage ball type arrangement. So if you want sort of the outright boot capacity, then this isn't going to be your car. You'd much rather buy the Corolla Touring Sports than one of these. Well, thank you, camera, for sort of going all blurry and things. That's a shame. Anyway, let's get inside the back. This is obviously where you're going to be spending most of your time, unless you're actually driving for a certain app. You're going to be in the back of here, and hopefully it's nice and comfortable, because that's a very important test. So in we get. Actually, the roof is okay. I mean, I'm 5'11", I'm just under 6 foot, and it's fine for me. But if you were taller, you might struggle a bit for headroom. It's quite nice though. The plastics used seem nice quality. You know, Toyotas would be typical for that. You know, very hard wearing. Little bottle holder in there. Got 2 USB-C ports down there, which is good. LED courtesy lights in there. What about a grab handle test? Is that any good? Oh yes, superb, viewers. Only one map pocket, which seems quite mean, because this is the top of a range car and it costs £40,000. So be so cheap that you don't have a driver's side map pocket. I'm not so keen on that, viewers, personally, but there we go. Also, these door tops are perfectly nice, but they are hard. You know, it's another sign of slight cost saving. But overall, it feels very well constructed and very high quality in here. It's just not luxurious feeling, if that makes sense. It's very technologically advanced, but not exactly luxurious. No beige leather interiors or wood or anything like that. If you compare this with a car at a comparable price, like the Chang'an Deepal SO7 I drove onto, which cost almost exactly the same as this car, in £5, which is a fully electric car, then you can't quite compare them because of the different powertrains. But it's just interesting to sort of do so and think, you know, that's a much more luxurious feeling car inside, whereas this feels kind of more utilitarian, but it's still very nice. Yeah, we've got an armrest in the middle here. Yes, we have, which is good. Yeah, we're going to need that. Overall, you're not going to be disappointed if somebody turns up in this, unless you're incredibly tall. Most average sized people will be fine. Anyway, let's hop in the front and see what that's like, because I did drive a 2018 Prius in 2019, and that was all right, but this looks a lot better. Okay, look at the size of this. I don't want to actually start it with the accessory on. There we go. Yeah, so where I'm sitting, my driving position, I can see the instruments over the top of the steering wheel, a bit like on a Peugeot 208. But if you have a steering wheel in a different place, or you're a different size, that might be a bit of a problem for you. Now, we're not ready to drive yet. Gosh, we've got a nice big map on there, haven't we? That's nice. So I'm just going to actually check the side of this infotainment system, because that does look very impressive. It's a 12.3-inch multimedia touchscreen, whatever that means. So we've got various settings in here. I'm not going to spend all day going in here, because I do not have a lot of time for that. But there we go. Energy flow is on there. That's good. The 1.8 version of this engine that was in the previous Prius is actually one of the most thermally efficient engines in the world. So we should get a good economy ratings. The thing is that whatever it's 600 miles per gallon or something that's been quoted, one of these is entirely unrealistic. You're more likely to get between 50 and 60 in everyday driving. So the fuel consumption, it says here, between 403 and 565 miles per gallon, which is, you're just not going to get that. It's not going to happen. Also, the driving range of this with 19-inch wheels in the design spec is 53 miles on electric power alone. With the Excel spec, which this is, apart from the stickers on it, that's actually a little bit less, and I've heard people get less than 35 out of the electric power alone. In fact, we'll see on the display up here what we've got. 242 miles in here. If we go into the auto EV mode and sort of thing here, what will it say? I'll have to turn the car on. Right, give me a second, viewers. We'll pause and we'll just have a look at that. Okay, so it's not very easy to see on camera, but there we go. We can go into auto and EV. The battery's a bit low for that. Someone had obviously been driving this and taking all the battery away. It's sort of a thing when you're sort of toward the end of the day and everyone else has driven the car first. Never mind. That's all right. So we're still doing. Let's have a look and see if we can see the modes in here. Lane departure warning. I don't need that. What we need is actually the sort of trip computer type stuff in here. If I can find that, just give me 1 second, viewers. There we go, in B mode, which gives us more regen braking and things like that. I'm actually going to put it into park, so I don't want it to roll away anywhere. We will just run it like that in a second. Someone's left me some board switches, which is nice. We'll just move those out of the way. We've got both USB and USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket, which is good. Excellent. Wow, heated seats, cooled seats, physical controls for the temperature and fan speed. That's absolutely fantastic. That's really good. That's what I would like to see, not buried in a touchscreen. Right, an audio source, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. There's no wireless charging pad in here, which is a surprising omission, really. Maybe we can put it in sort of there, like this, although I've got my phone in my hand, so I can't do that. Auto hold and a parking brake. Drive mode selector. We've got Eco, Normal, Sport, Custom. We're going to want Eco mode for the maximum range. There's also hold charge, which is what I've not been doing today, and some more USB-C ports in there. That's good. Now, glove box. Right, see if we can get my secret mission documents in here. What? No! Oh, viewers! What a disappointment. £40,000. There's even not in space for secret mission documents. Never mind. That's an interesting texture, isn't it? That's an interesting texture. It's very interesting texture in here. But the dash is odd in that sort of way with these different textures. That might be a bit of a problem for some people like that, but maybe it's not. It's this incredible sort of blend here of high functionality, advanced features, and some slightly unusual plastics. Let's say unusual. And then we can flip this mirror like this. We can have a camera or no camera. Camera, no camera. So we put it in reverse. Does that bring up some cameras on here as well? So if we go, let's try reverse. There we go. Excellent. There we are. Check surroundings for safety. I would have thought we'd get more cameras than just a reversing camera in this model, but never mind. Into parks, we don't go anywhere. Yeah. So we've got physical controls on the steering wheel, absolutely tons of them. Automatic lights are down there. Got electric seats in this model as well. Auto folding mirrors, excellent. We'd like that sort of thing, viewers. A little thing for opening the boot, obviously, but if you're picking passengers up, that's useful. And for opening the fuel flap there. Yeah, no fancy paddles. Why would you want fancy paddles if you're driving a Prius, though? It's not the sort of car for that. Anyway, I'll open up the bonnet and take a look at the engine. So here it is, the 2 litre 4-cylinder, developing about 220 horsepower. 2 separate cooling systems, of course, because it's a plug-in hybrid. It doesn't actually look too difficult to work in with coil packs and things, but my gosh, there's an awful lot of stuff in here. What you're going to want is probably to maintain the warranty by servicing this car on schedule at a Toyota dealership, in which case you can get up to 10 years or 100,000 miles worth of warranty. Probably recommend that for a £40,000 car. But yeah, these are known generally for being quite dependable. This model, I don't know. It only came out last year, so we don't quite know yet. But it should be, if the record of the first 4 generations of Prius are anything to go by, quite a reliable car. Right, let's get back on the road. So coming out junctions, no problem at all. The only thing is, sometimes because of this CVT gearbox, you just get this horrible sort of wailing noise from the engine, despite relatively modest throttle inputs. And so it's not necessarily the sort of quietest car. A bit of regen with the V mode, just go around the corner, no problem at all. Wow, really stable and flat cornering. Very impressive, viewers. Very impressive indeed. So, yeah, there's no DC fast charging in this, which could be a bit of a pain for some people. That's not necessarily a big problem for some of you, but if you wanted to use it as much as possible to get that stupid figure of like 400 miles per gallon, you're going to have to be charging it an awful lot to do that, rather than just doing what most people do, which is not charge a plug-in hybrid at all, and just either charge the battery using the engine or just leave it to do whatever it does. So that's not really how you're supposed to use one of these. Obviously, you've got no option in this country. You have to buy a plug-in hybrid Prius if you want a Prius. Yeah, I am quite impressed with this car. The context of 2025, £40,000 for a plug-in hybrid is not unexpected at all. It's not necessarily overpriced. The car is very able. It's just the boot is a little bit on the small side, and if you're very tall, the rear will feel a bit cramped. But otherwise, it's very nice. It's not the most sort of luxurious feeling interior. It's very well made. It's very technology heavy. It's just, if you want kind of to feel really luxurious, this isn't quite the car for you, which is fine. It's not a problem or anything. It's just something to be aware of when you're spending this amount of money on a car, which just actually, in this particular trim, just about escapes luxury car tax. You can get, obviously, the lower specification model, the design, for about £38,000 if you want to save a bit of money and you don't need all these extra features that this car has. So viewers, how do we sum up this XW60 version of the Prius? Well, it's actually pretty good to drive. I'm surprised how well it drives. I think it looks very nice. I think it's going to be popular with a certain sort of segment of the market. It's just some strange omissions, like the lack of a wireless charging pad, which most cars tend to have these days in this sort of price bracket. And it's a shame we can't get a lower price model that's just a hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid over here, because that would probably address some of the concerns that I have about maybe some of the materials in here not feeling quite as luxurious as they might do. But I quite like it, really, viewers. I probably wouldn't put all these stickers on one of them if I had one, but that's very much individual taste, isn't it? Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below. And we shall see you again very soon for some more really rather rushed and pretty rubbish reviews.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Every blue day, every day with blue skies.